Heading down to a boat to take a look at an air conditioning unit that is popping off some codes. We already changed out one of the switches. That didn't fix it, so I'm going to check some connections and data and stuff like that and see what I can figure out. We'll see if we see any cool race boats down here while I'm walking out. Here you got a cigarette boat right there, and some more marine technology boats. So those are 50 footers. Well, this front one might have been 48. The back one there looks like 50. And here's another big fancy boat. This is the same Marine Technologies. Same layout, same boat, just different colors. Got the 454 Merc Racers on the back. They're about $65,000 a piece, not including the rigging.
So today I wanted to talk about the bottom of this boat. This boat has some issues. Have you ever seen something like this before? Let me show you. It also appears, besides the fact that we have this green, so look at this bottom. You see all of this green? You see the black? The whole bottom looks like this. It kind of looks like paint stripes or something. Have you ever seen this? So when you're looking at the bottom here too, you can see the green, but this is the water line. So that's to be expected to some extent. The boat's been out of the water for a couple of months now because this is the teak deck boat that we've been working on for quite some time. And now it's time for it to get ready to go back in the water, and we had to address the bottom paint since we suspect that there's potentially something wrong. So like, look here, you can see that this paint is just flaking off with my finger. And really, the only way to address that is to sand it down and start afresh, since it appears that the bottom, to some extent, is deteriorating. These are some of the areas that we need to address as well. Looks like potential electrolysis issues. You can really see it all around the metal. Looks like Tom's already started to do some of the sanding on the bottom here. They had all the green stripes.
All right, we're gonna go down here and check out this air conditioner. Try to figure out why it's not running. It just keeps going into HPF. Damn it. Well, it just got shocked. Off that capacitor right there. Just going to build up this harness. We are going to have to double up one wire though. Here we go. I'll just take a zip tie when I get back down there and zip tie off with those wires. And what I have is common is the red and the orange, which are right here. My black is my high pressure switch, my blue is my low pressure switch, and then I just have this side which plugs into the circuit board, and you can see orange, black, and blue. Again, I had to have two commons, so I just used the red in this cable. So I was working on the dock on some wiring, and look at this little beggar that comes up. Look at him, little beggar. Cute little thing, though. I don't have anything to feed you, buddy. I know you're just curious and looking for crumbs. So I was working on that air conditioner, and I was unable to get it to run with the switches hooked up. Safety switches, there's two of them, low and high pressure. Well, there's actually more than that, but for this video we'll just talk about those two. So I talked to the client and he says, Matt, I got company coming in, I need it working. I said, well, the only way I can get this going, because I had to order parts, is by cutting the wire harness and jumping out the high and low pressure switches. It is now running. However, I did tell the client Only use it if you absolutely have to, because now the compressor and the system has no protection until I can get back over there, when I get some special plugs for the circuit board and I can recreate the wiring harness. So I was gonna explain something to you guys. You probably saw in the video where I got shocked the other day. Well, you know, people are probably like, well, Matt, why don't you just turn the power off? Well, you can't really troubleshoot, you know, an air conditioning unit with the power off. You just have to go in there and be careful. And you know, it was hot, I was totally soaked with sweat, I was tired, and got a little careless, and just my finger, I was disconnecting the circuit connector, and I brushed up against something I shouldn't have been touching. I wasn't paying attention, wasn't focused, and it bit me, and it hurt. Sorry about the language, but you know, it's not my first time I've been shocked, or my last. The worst I ever came was when I was growing up in Wisconsin. I was working on a dairy farm, and we had just gotten done loading hay up into the mow, up in the barn, and it was an electric elevator, 230 volt, and I disconnected it from the motor on the elevator, but I did not disconnect the cord from the power source in the milk room. And I was coiling it up, you know, slinging it between my hands, coiling it up, and I caught some wires. To this day, I'm not going to take the time to show you, but I have scars on my palms of my hands, right in here, right along in here, and on my toes. There's these white spots, and they were all burn spots. Probably the closest I've ever come to dying. But I remember just being hooked up to that power, and I remember it was like slow motion, and I could not let go. And finally, it tripped the breaker, and I fell down, and the farmers ran up to me, and they were like, "Are you okay?" And they said I was a little out of it, but I ended up working the rest of the day. But come to find out that the dog had chewed the extension cord and made bare wires. That was when I learned, whenever you mess with an extension cord, always unplug it from the outlet first. Never wind it up when it's plugged in. Anyways, that's my story about electricity.